All right, so today we are going to be taking a deep dive into the world of berberine. You're probably here because you're interested in natural health. Maybe you're looking for new ways to kind of, manage your weight. Well, guess what? We found some research about berberine and how it might help people lose weight. And get this stuff has been around for centuries. We're talking ancient roots in traditional medicine. People are saying it's like a metabolic master switch. And some people have even reported that they lost like a ton of weight. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm intrigued.
What's really cool is that berberine isn't like some new fad or anything. It's a natural compound that's found in plants, like Barbarian golden seal. And people have been using those plants for centuries in like traditional Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine. They mostly used it for its antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties.
Right, so it's been around forever, but what is berberine? Like, what makes this ancient compound so special that now people are using it for weight loss?
Well, berberine is what we call an alkaloid, which is just a fancy way of saying it's an organic compound that's found in nature and has nitrogen in it. To put it simply, it's a strong chemical that's in certain plants. And like we talked about before, these plants have been used medicinally for a really long time, but newer research has started to look into whether it could be helpful for losing weight.
So how does it even work? Like, how does this plant extract even impact your weight? What's the science behind all of this?
The science is pretty fascinating. Berberine kind of works on a bunch of different levels. Like, it's almost like a multi-pronged attack on weight management.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
One of the most important ways it works is by activating an enzyme called AMPK. You can think of AMPK like your body's metabolic master switch.
Oh, I like that.
So when AMPK gets activated, it ramps up your metabolism. And it basically tells your body to start burning fat for energy. It even affects your mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of your cells. So it basically helps them produce more energy.
So it's like kicking your metabolism into high gear?
Yeah, exactly. But that's not even all it does. Berberine can also make you more sensitive to insulin. Basically, that means it helps your body use insulin better, which then helps regulate your blood sugar. And that can really help with cravings. And this is especially important because if your body isn't responding to insulin well, that can make it a lot harder to lose weight. Like, we're talking directly affecting how your cells signal insulin.
Okay, so it's not just about burning fat then. It's also about helping your body manage its energy better. I can definitely see how that would be huge when you're trying to lose weight.
Right. And there's even more. Berberine can also change up your gut microbiota.
Your what?
It's a fancy way of saying the bacteria that live in your gut.
Oh, okay. So
Having a good balance of bacteria in your gut is super important for your overall health. And some research suggests that it might even affect how you manage your weight by impacting how you absorb nutrients and how your body stores fat.
wow, it really does attack weight loss from every angle. But hold on, you said there were other benefits too besides weight loss. What are those?
Yeah. So, besides all the stuff we talked about with weight management, research is showing that berberine might also make your heart healthier by lowering your cholesterol levels and reducing your risk of getting cardiovascular diseases. It even seems to be good at regulating your blood sugar. So it might be helpful for people who have type 2 diabetes or who are at risk of getting it.
So it's not just some weight loss supplement. It sounds like it could be great for your overall metabolic health. That's amazing that something from a plant could do all of that.
It is. And we can't forget about how good it is for your gut. By making sure your gut has a good balance of bacteria, berberine can help you digest food better, reduce bloating, and even make you feel better overall.
Okay, I'm convinced. Let's be real here. I'm going to go online and I'm going to be bombarded with choices. How do I even start to choose the right supplement? It's so overwhelming.
You're right. The supplement market can be a lot, so. When you're trying to pick a good berberine supplement, the few things you want to keep in mind are purity, bioavailability, and third-party testing.
Okay, could you explain all of that? Like, what should I actually be looking for?
Well, purity is like the most important thing. You should look for supplements that are at least 95 to 97% berberine HCl. That's the form that seems to be the most effective. Bioavailability is important too. That's just how well your body can actually absorb the supplement. Some forms are absorbed better than others, so you should do a little research on that. And finally, you always want to look for third-party testing. That means that an independent lab has tested the supplement, and they've checked the quality and potency, so you can be sure that you're actually getting what you're paying for.
So do your research, and don't be afraid to ask questions if you need to. Are there any specific brands you would recommend?
Yeah, actually, there are a few brands that consistently get really good reviews. Bone Research is a good one. They're known for their high quality. Their Berberine 500 supplement has really good bioavailability. There's also Tonic, They have a Berberine HCl supplement that's 97% pure. And then Dr. Whitaker's Berberine Glucogold is another popular option. And it has some extra ingredients, like alpha-lipoic acid, which might make it even more effective.
That's really helpful, thank you. But before everyone runs off to buy Berberine, we need to talk about potential side effects. I love natural solutions, but safety has to come first. And I know our listeners are probably thinking the same thing. So what are the potential side effects of taking Berberine?
Yeah, you're right, safety first. Berberine is usually pretty well tolerated, but some people do experience side effects, especially when they first start taking it. The most common side effects are digestive issues, like bloating, cramping, and diarrhea. Constipation can also happen, but it's less common.
Okay, those definitely sound like things you want to watch out for. Is there anything else we should be concerned about? Like if we're already taking medication, or if we have certain health conditions?
Yeah, there are a couple things. Berberine can lower your blood sugar. So if you're taking medication for diabetes, you should definitely talk to your doctor before you start taking Berberine. You don't want to risk them interacting. Another thing to think about is that if you take really high doses of Berberine for a long time, it could potentially stress your liver. So generally, it's a good idea to avoid taking more than 1,500 milligrams a day, unless your doctor tells you to take more.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Speaking of dosage, let's talk about how to actually take Berberine. I'm always looking for ways to optimize my results. So do you have any tips about when to take it or how to take it?
Yeah, timing can definitely make a difference when you're taking Berberine. If you take it before you eat, it can help regulate your blood sugar, and it can also reduce your appetite. And it's usually recommended to divide your daily dose into 2 or 3 smaller doses and spread them out throughout the day. Ideally, you should take it with meals. That helps keep your blood levels stable, and it could also help prevent any digestive problems.
So strategic timing is key.
Yeah.
Do you have any other pro tips to help us get the most out of Berberine?
Oh, yeah. One more thing. If you take Berberine with healthy fats, it can actually help your body absorb it better. So try taking it with a meal that has some healthy fats, like avocado or nuts or olive oil. That might help it work even better.
Okay, that's a really good tip.
Yeah.
So we've covered what Berberine is, how it works, the potential benefits, how to choose a good supplement, and even how to take it. But now I really want to know, when can people expect to actually see results, especially when it comes to weight loss?
Well, it's important to be realistic. It's not some kind of quick fix. And everyone's body is different. But based on what people have reported, you might start to notice that you're digesting food better and that you're having fewer cravings within like the first week or 2. And then around week 3 or 4, you might start to see some changes in your belly fat and in your overall metabolic function.
That's pretty encouraging.
Yeah.
What about bigger weight loss? Like those claims we talked about before, like losing 5 to 15 pounds.
For that kind of weight loss, you usually need to take it consistently for at least 3 months. It's not about trying to lose weight quickly. It's about adding Berberine to a healthy lifestyle.
That makes sense. But you know our listeners love a good success story.
Oh, of course.
So are there any real-life examples of people who have had amazing results with Berberine? Just something to motivate all of us.
Yeah, there are some pretty impressive ones. For example, one woman lost 20 pounds in 4 months. She combined Berberine with a low-carb diet. Another case, there was a man who was able to improve his insulin resistance and lost 15 pounds in 3 months. And there's even an example of someone who reduced their body fat by 5% in just 90 days.
Wow, those are amazing results. It's so inspiring to hear about people who are actually having success with Berberine.
It is, but it's important to keep in mind that those are just examples. What works for one person might not work the same way for someone else.
That's very true. Okay, before we wrap up part 1 of our deep dives into Berberine, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about some of the things that can go wrong. Are there things people should avoid while taking Berberine? Like things that could stop it from working effectively, things that could sabotage their effort.
Definitely. Taking the supplement is just one part of it. You have to make sure your lifestyle is supporting it too. One of the biggest things to avoid is refined sugar and processed foods. Those kinds of foods can actually reverse the positive effects that Berberine has on your blood sugar.
So it's not like you can eat whatever you want and still lose weight just because you're taking Berberine.
Exactly. You still have to eat healthy. And another thing to think about is alcohol. Alcohol can interfere with how Berberine affects your metabolism, so it's best to limit how much you drink while you're taking it. Oh, and if you're on antibiotics or diabetes medications, it's super important to talk to your doctor before you start taking Berberine. There's always a chance they could interact.
It's a good reminder. You should always be careful and do your research before you start combining supplements and medication. Are there any other things we should avoid doing while taking berberine?
One more thing. Remember that more isn't always better. It's usually best to just stick to the recommended dose and avoid taking really high doses, unless your doctor tells you to. Remember, safety first.
Excellent advice. It seems like we've covered a lot of ground in part 1 of our deep dive into berberine. So before we move on to part 2, just want to quickly go over the key points we've talked about so far. We've learned that berberine is a natural compound and that it might be able to help people lose weight, and it could also have some other health benefits. We talked about how it works in your body and how important it is to choose a high-quality supplement. And of course, always talk to your doctor to get personalized advice.
And it's also important to have realistic expectations and to think about weight loss in a holistic way. Berberine is just one part of a healthy lifestyle.
Right. Now, before we move on to part 2, where we're going to go into more detail about using berberine effectively, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Now that you know all of this about berberine, how could you incorporate it into your own wellness journey?
Okay, so picking up where we left off, let's dive into those potential weight loss numbers. I know everyone is probably wondering how much weight they can actually lose with berberine.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone wants that magic number.
Well, I wish it were that simple. Losing weight is complicated. And berberine isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. How much weight you can lose really depends on you. But the research and anecdotal evidence we have does give us a general idea.
Okay, tell me. What kind of weight loss have people been reporting?
So it seems like, even if you don't change your diet that much, some people are still losing a few pounds a month, maybe like 3 to 5 pounds on average. But the interesting thing is, when people combine berberine with a healthy diet and regular exercise, the numbers go way up. Like we're talking 5 to 10 pounds a month, sometimes even more.
Wow, that's a huge difference. So your lifestyle really does matter.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about taking the supplement. You have to create an environment where your body can actually thrive. When you combine berberine with a healthy diet and exercise, you're giving your body everything it needs to get the most out of the supplement.
That makes a lot of sense. But I imagine there are other things that affect how well it works too, right? Like your genetics and your metabolism.
Exactly. Things like your starting weight, your metabolism, your individual body chemistry, even your gut microbiome. All of those things can affect how your body responds to berberine.
So it's not just popping a magic pill. You have to understand how it's going to work with your own unique biology.
Precisely. It's all about personalized health and understanding that what works for one person might not work for someone else.
Okay, that's good to remember. So let's sum up some of the key takeaways for our listeners when it comes to setting realistic expectations for losing weight with berberine.
Sure, I think the most important thing to remember is berberine is a natural supplement, not a miracle cure. It's not about replacing healthy habits, it's about enhancing them. So think of berberine as like a tool that can help you lose weight, but it's not going to do all the work for you.
Yeah, it's about taking control of your health and realizing that real, lasting change comes from making healthy choices.
Right. It's about being proactive and understanding that a holistic approach is the best way to achieve your goals.
And part of that is choosing the right supplement, right? We talked about that before.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The quality of your berberine supplement is really important. Look for high-purity berberine HCl, and preferably something that's been third-party tested, so you know it's good quality.
So do your research, choose wisely, and ask questions if you need to. And of course, always talk to your doctor, especially if you have any health conditions or if you're taking any medication.
Yes, that's so important.
They can help you figure out if berberine is right for you, and they can help you figure out the right dose.
Absolutely. Your doctor can help you with any concerns you have.
For great advice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to move on to the last part of our berberine deep dive. What can our listeners expect in part 3?
In part 3, we're going to talk about some more specific ways to use berberine effectively. We'll talk about cycling and about combining berberine with other supplements, and we'll answer some common questions people have about berberine.
Sounds good. I can't wait. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back to finish up our deep dive into the world of berberine. All right, we're back. And I am ready to get into those finer points of using berberine. Like you mentioned earlier, you piqued my curiosity with that whole cycling thing. So what exactly does that mean? Like, what does it mean to cycle berberine?
So, cycling just means taking breaks from berberine instead of taking it all the time. Some people think that taking breaks can help keep it effective. and stop your body from getting too used to it.
So like it's like resetting your body's response to the supplement. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But is there any actual research to support that? Or is it just something people are doing based on their own experience?
That's a good question. The research on cycling berberine is still kind of limited, so there's not a clear answer yet. It's more of a strategy that some people use based on their own experience or based on what their doctor recommends.
So it's not like a hard rule.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something to talk to your doctor about. If you're thinking about doing it.
Exactly. It's always best to talk to your healthcare provider to see what makes sense for you.
Speaking of personalization, you also mentioned something about stacking berberine with other supplements. What's that all about?
Oh yeah. Stacking just means combining berberine with other supplements. That might help it work better, or that might help you reach your specific health goals. For example, some people stack berberine with cinnamon or milk thistle. Both of those have been used to help regulate blood sugar.
So you're basically creating a personalized supplement mix to target your specific needs. That's pretty cool. But it also sounds like it could be dangerous if you're not careful.
Yeah, you're right. You have to be really careful with stacking. And you should always talk to your doctor first. Not all supplements work well together, and some combinations can even be harmful.
So don't just start experimenting with different combinations on your own.
Right. Talk to your doctor. They can help you figure out which combinations are safe and effective for you.
Okay, good to know. So I'm sure our listeners have some other questions about berberine. What are some of the most common ones you get asked?
One that comes up a lot, especially from women, is whether it's safe to take berberine during pregnancy or breastfeeding. And we just don't have enough research to know for sure.
So it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah. It's always best to talk to your doctor before you take any supplements, especially if you're pregnant or breastfeeding.
Makes sense. What about people who are taking berberine, but they're just not seeing any results? What do you tell them?
That's a good question. Not every supplement works for everyone. Our bodies are all different. So if you're not seeing results with berberine, there are a few things to consider. First, make sure you're taking a high-quality supplement and that you're taking the right dose. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Right, sometimes it's the simple things. But what if you're doing everything right and you're still not seeing any results?
Then it might be time to look at your overall lifestyle. Remember, berberine works best when it's part of a healthy lifestyle. So, if you're not seeing results, think about your diet, your exercise routine, how much sleep you're getting, and your stress levels.
Yeah, there's no magic bullet. You have to make changes that are actually going to stick.
Exactly. And if you've really tried and you're still not getting the results you want, talk to your doctor. They can help you figure out if there's something else going on, or if there might be a different strategy that would work better for you.
Okay, that makes sense. It sounds like it's all about working together. You, your doctor, and your berberine.
Right. So.
It seems like we've covered a lot in our berberine deep dive. Any final thoughts you want to leave our listeners with?
I think the main takeaway is berberine is a really interesting natural compound that has a lot of potential, especially for managing your weight and for your metabolic health. But like with any supplement, it's important to be smart about it, do your research, talk to your doctor, and make informed decisions.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Always do your research. Listen to your body.
Yeah.
And put your health first.
And remember, getting healthier is a journey, not a race. So be patient with yourself, celebrate your successes, and never stop learning.
Well said. That's all for our berberine deep dive. We hope you learned a lot and that you feel empowered to make informed decisions about your health.
And we hope you'll join us next time
for another deep dive into the world of natural health and wellness. Until then,
stay curious,
stay informed,
and stay well.